He was not simply demanding money. He was demanding measurable investment. He was saying, if you want our political support, show us policies that improve our lives. What happened at the convention, brothers and sisters, was bigger than one speech. It was a warning sign to Black leadership. It was a warning sign to the Democratic Party when they brought out the biggest voices expecting affirmation. Instead, the strongest message came from a young voter rejecting the entire framework. That moment revealed a generational rupture.
This is the Publisher's Desk with Damon K. Jones, brought to you by Black Westchester Magazine.
Peace and blessings, everybody, and welcome to the Publisher's Desk. I'm Damon K. Jones, and I am the publisher of Black Westchester Magazine, and this is powered by blackwestchester.com. It's the news with the Black point of view. And today, we want to have a conversation, brothers and sisters. We want to have a conversation about something that's going viral over the social media that happened at the National Action Network. Now, the National Action Network had a convention, and the convention was filled with some of the most powerful names in the Democratic Party. See, brothers and sisters, the stage was packed with elected officials, so-called civil rights leaders, party insiders, national Democratic figures, the who's who of the Democratic establishment, all gathered to speak to Black America about justice, policy, and the future. And some media outlets even named it that way, that the Democratic Party leaders came to the National Action Network to speak to Black America. On paper, it looked like strength. The microphones was polished. The speeches were polished. The names on stage, they carried political weight. But by the end of the convention, none of those polished speakers became the defining moment. The most powerful message came not from the podium, but from one of the young voices in the audience who stood up and shattered the entire script.
Hey, yo, as I look around this room, if you're 35 years old or younger, raise your hand. 4 people. So here's the thing. Y'all in trouble. Yesterday you had Al Green up here talking about we need a Secretary of Reconciliation, and then that's going to include what he said was reparations, which, by the way, wasn't reparations. Reparations is more than a check, but the very first thing it is a check. And come this year during the midterms and in 2028, if you don't have our check, you won't get no vote. No check, no vote. Yeah, I know that ain't what you want to hear, but that's what's happening. All of y'all in here, with all due respect, you're beautiful, but you're old. You're not talking to the youth. You don't know how to talk to the youth. You're trying to tell us what to do. We're not having it no more. So if you want our vote, you got to come with our paper. We're not scared of Trump. We're not scared of anybody. Biden is a racist. Trump is a racist. Kamala is a racist. And if you don't have our money, you don't get our vote. Yeah, not. Who are you? Oh, all right, yeah, so like I was saying, I'm going to land my plane right there, but the Democrats are no better than the Republicans. No check, no vote. Y'all take care. And somebody get my man a tissue. He need a tissue.
And what he said, brothers and sisters, revealed something that the Democrat elites, the Black elites, are refusing to hear. The next generation is no longer accepting inherited political loyalty without results and outcome. At one point, the young speaker asked everyone in the room, aged 35 and under, to raise their hands. And only 4 people responded out of the whole crowd. 4. That moment exposed a deeper crisis in Black politics. Here was a major political gathering meant to shape the future conversation around Black America. Yet almost no young people were in the room. And the few who were in the room were not inspired by the Black political elite or the Democratic political elite. They were frustrated. That young man did not stand to praise the speakers. He stood to confront them. One of the first things he challenged was the way reparations were being discussed. Earlier, Congressman Al Green had referenced reparations in his remarks, framing it in terms that the young speaker clearly believed were shallow and incomplete. His response was direct. Reparations is more than a check. That statement cut to the heart of the growing frustration of younger Black voters and younger Black men. Too often, reparations is used as a moral language in speeches, but it has been stripped of any seriously policy stance to the point that Governor Westmore, who was up there speaking, vetoed a reparations bill. How do you even talk to Black America and you vetoed a reparations bill? Just to study it, just to give a policy and see what does Maryland owe the descendants of slaves that was legal in the state of Maryland. See, the younger speaker was rejecting symbolic reparations rhetoric that sounds powerful on stage, but has no enforceable framework behind it. What he was really saying, stop using reparations as a campaign language, or not using it at all, if there's no real structural plan attached to it. See, for many younger voters, symbolic acknowledgement is no longer enough. Not putting real legislation and putting your voice and your political capital behind reparations for Black America is no longer enough. We want measurable policy, not applause line. And then he hit him with the uppercut and he said, we're not scared of Trump. We're not scared of anybody.
We're not scared of Trump. We're not scared of anybody. Biden is a racist. Trump is a racist. Kamala is a racist. And if you don't have our money, you don't get our vote.
Biden is a racist. Trump is a racist. Kamala is a racist. See, that statement was deliberately provocative, but deeper meaning matters. What he was rejecting was not just individual politicians. He was rejecting the fear-based political formula that both parties have relied on for years to use emotional politics over Black people. See, for decades, the Democrat elites have leaned on one central argument. You must support us because Trump is worse. You must vote for us because Trump is dangerous. You must stay loyal because the Republicans are racist. They're the bigger threat. But this young man's message was clear. Fear no longer controls the generation that's coming up. When he said he's not scared of Trump, he was rejecting the fear that the Democrats and Black leadership use as a tool for political persuasion. He was saying that younger voters are tired of being emotionally manipulated into party loyalty without receiving tangible results in return. And Al Sharpton responded to what the young man said.
I'm glad that people are here. Let me say, in terms of our report for the year, and then we're going to go on with the program. Our young people are rehearsing, getting ready for this afternoon. Is our youth day. I heard somebody talk about young people. They tell them to just stay around. They're going to see two people, afternoon, all of the youth in there. And I don't know, but you get provocateurs, because anybody that is talking to somebody younger than them holding the mic, then you know that they paid agents. And if you're in the room, if you don't like me saying that, I'll say it again. Because you cannot get reparations without putting people in office that's going to pay them. So talk that ignorance somewhere else. You know, people talking about we have been for all of our existence fighting for reparations, made every candidate pledge to it. You cannot get reparations unless you elect folk that's going to pay it. Who you going to pay yourself? So you can't, at one hand, say, don't vote for everybody, they racist, but I want reparations. Who going to pay you? So either you paid or you stupid or both. I mean, I don't see nobody standing up. I didn't see whoever it was, but yeah, okay. I was at college and the guy stood up talking about, I don't believe in all that nonviolent stuff. Y'all need to get out the way and da-da-da-da, and da-da-da-da. And all you punks, I said, hold it with the punk stuff. I said, because you got one punk out. You go to the second punk, you're going to get the best nonviolent whipping you ever got in your life. Because I'm not scared of the folk we fight, I ain't scared of the folk we...
Now his response, he dismissed the grievance of the young man. And that grievance, as I said earlier in the show, is many young black men and young black people are wanting to know what the Democratic Party is going to do for them, and to not have a conversation with them and dismiss them and saying that their demands of check and no vote is irrelevant, but nobody's talking about reparations. And Al Sharpton, I say this with love, what black politician has stood on reparation? You said that you support all the candidates that you should support reparations. But
you know, people talking about we have been for all of our existence fighting for reparations, made every candidate pledge to it.
But you just had Wes Moore on the stage. As I said earlier, he vetoed a legislation on reparations. We had 8 years of President Barack Obama. Al Sharpton, when did he talk about reparations? Where was the executive order from the first black president on reparations? You didn't bring it up to him. You didn't talk about it on MSNBC. There wasn't no panel. H.R. 40 has been around for over 3 decades. Why hasn't it passed? Why didn't it pass when the first black president and the Democrats control the White House, the House, and the Senate? Why no reparations bill passed, at least to study it? You don't have no outline on reparations on the National Action Network. So how are you saying you're standing on reparations? The older generation is not listening to the younger generation. And this is why young black people are fed up with the Democratic Party. Unfortunately, brother, you just proved their point. And since it's Al Sharpton, the National Action Network, and a lot of pastors I see going around. See, there's a biblical parallel to what the man was saying, what this young man was giving to the older people. And this is where the scriptures gives us the clearest framework on what's happening, for understanding for what's happening right now. See, in Numbers chapter 14, after Israel was delivered from Egypt, God made a profound decision. Hear me out. The older generation, shaped by slavery, fear, and dependency, would not enter the promised land. Why? Because they had physically left Egypt, but Egypt was still in their mind. They still thought like captives. They still trusted systems that have enslaved them. So God allowed the next generation to wander in the wilderness until they died off. Not because age was the issue, because the mindset was. See, that same principle applies here politically. See, because when Trump became president, y'all Negroes didn't understand that Pharaoh has let us go. Y'all not understanding that, black pastors, black leadership. We have to begin to think on our own. Stop being dependent for these politicians to give us free shit. I can't make it no plainer. I really can't make it any plainer. See, today's Democratic old guard continues speaking the language of fear, party loyalty, and inherited allegiance. But the younger generations, the younger black men that are coming up and they're standing 10 toes down on God, no longer are willing to inherit those patterns from y'all old Negroes. That's what Carter G. Woodson warned us about 100 years ago of the elite Negro. They are refusing to wander politically in systems that keep making promises without delivering outcomes, while our communities look a mess, look like in shambles, high crime, broken family. The Democratic establishment has mistaken symbolic inclusion for real transformation. They assume that representation alone is enough. And the hypocrisy is crazy. When Trump said black jobs, all y'all Negroes ran around talking about, I ain't got no black job. I ain't got no black job. I ain't got no black job. Then he jumps in, he got rid of DEI, he got rid of affirmative action, and they talking about, well, what happened to the black jobs? I thought y'all ain't have black jobs. So what are you worried about DEI for? What are you worried about affirmative action for? It didn't work for us anyway, but it just showed you guys hypocrisy. Now y'all worried about black jobs. I thought we ain't have no black jobs. And you're only gonna have black jobs if you keep begging from these corporations for jobs. Because what have decades of loyalty produced for our younger generation? Absolutely nothing. They can't even go to black businesses as getting a job because we don't have none. We don't have black institutions. Of course, that young man is upset. And this is what these Democratic Negro elites are failing to understand. And the young man stood 10 toes down when he said, no check, no vote. See, maybe people may hear that as crude or transactional, but the deeper meaning is accountability. He was not simply demanding money, he was demanding measurable investment. He was saying, if you want our political support, show us policies that improve our lives. Show us economic ownership. Show us wealth building. Show us better schools. Show us how we're going to make better families. That's what this young man was talking about. Show us safer neighborhoods. Show us results, not this political extremism. That young man was more politically mature than anybody on that dais. And why this moment matters? What happened at the convention, brothers and sisters, was bigger than one speech. It was a warning sign to black leadership. It was a warning sign to the Democratic Party. When they brought out the biggest voices, expecting affirmation. Instead, the strongest message came from a young voter rejecting the entire framework. That moment revealed a generational rupture. The old guard is still speaking, but the next generation has stopped listening. We warned you, Negroes. We kept warning you, Negroes. But now you have saw for yourself in your own house, your own convention. Fearless young black man stood up and called the Democratic Party and the Negro elite on their hypocrisy. And unless the Democratic elites and y'all black leaders begin hearing the frustration behind these voices, and don't be like dumbass Roland Martin saying they're anti-black. See, y'all gonna risk being like those elders in the wilderness, still leading meetings, still giving speeches, still commanding stage for the institution, but unable to enter the next political era. The lesson of the wilderness is always the same. When leadership refuses to evolve, history raises up a generation that will no longer follow blindly. Urban League, NAACP, National Action Network, a lot of y'all political pastors, God just gave you a warning. He gave you a warning. We are witnessing that warning. The old politics of fear is dying. The old politics of inherited loyalty to one party is dying. And unless the black elites and the Democrats elites stop lecturing and start delivering measurable outcomes, they may soon discover that the voters they assumed that they owned have already moved on. Because in every wilderness season, one truth remains. Either the leadership changes or the people chooses new leadership to follow. And if you believe politics should be judged by outcomes, not slogans, subscribe to this channel, because at the Publisher's Desk, we talk about this. See, because the future belongs to those who are willing to think beyond inherited loyalties. And thank you. And please go to Black Westchester magazine, blackwestchester.com. It's the news with the black point of view. And as always, stay safe, stay blessed, and stay blacktastic. Peace out.
Appreciate you taking the time to engage with real conversations, real issues, and real perspectives that matter to Black America. Stay connected, stay informed, and as always, we'll see you next time at the Publisher's Desk. It's going to be blacktastic. If you're serious about political clarity and independent thinking, this is for you. The Political Thought Bundle includes 3 full books, all personally signed. Democrats and Republicans, The Ultimate Gangbangers, breaks down how the two-party system operates like a legalized street war for power. Emotional Politics, Logical Failure exposes how emotion has replaced strategy in black political engagement. Tolerance is for Cowards lays out a blueprint for extended policing and community-led public safety rooted in outcomes rather than slogans. 3 signed books. One bundle, $60. That's a $75 value, and you're getting signed copies included. This isn't left versus right. It's results versus rhetoric. Go to twosteppublishing.com and secure your signed Political Thought Bundle today. It's going to be blacktastic. For more than a century, Black America built its own economy under segregation, under discrimination, and under conditions most people today cannot imagine. We built businesses. We built banks. We bought land and property. In The Forgotten Blueprint, Damon K. Jones reveals how black communities created thriving economic systems from 1800 to 1965, and why that blueprint still matters today. This book challenges the idea that our future depends on politics alone, and shows how ownership, family, and enterprise once powered black prosperity. The blueprint is not lost. We just stopped using it. The Forgotten Blueprint, how Black America built its own economy from 1800 to 1965. On sale now at Two Step Publishing and Amazon. Black Westchester magazine has been giving our community a voice, reporting the stories others ignore, holding power accountable, and making sure the truth about our communities is told by us. But independent black media only survives when the community supports it. If you believe in real journalism, community accountability, and keeping black voices strong in local news, we need your help. Your donation helps us continue covering the stories that matter: politics, education, justice, and economic empowerment right here in Westchester. Support black media, support Black truth, support Black Westchester Magazine. Donate today and help keep Black media alive. Because Black-owned independent media is Blacktastic. Black Westchester Magazine presents People Before Politics, the Sunday Rundown, every Sunday at 6 p.m. on YouTube. Join Damon K. Jones, A.J. Woodson, and Larnez Kinsey as they break down the biggest stories in politics, culture, and community from a Black point of view. No spin, no party loyalty, just logic, accountability, and outcomes. If it impacts Black America, we're talking about it. Tap in, subscribe, set your reminder. This Sunday at 6 p.m. is going to be Blacktastic.
This is the Publisher's Desk with Damon K. Jones, brought to you by Black Westchester Magazine, where life, culture, community, and faith meet truth, power, and purpose.